What's up, everyone? Drew, aka Catching Rockets here. I hope everybody had a good day today. We went live on Zoom. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. I had identified this level here as a place to be long. We waited about an hour and a half for it finally to get hit, and then we just chopped sideways for about another hour and a half. This was my stop loss here. You could see it got sliced through. I had mentioned, I don't remember where, but I was saying, there was a good chance that they bounce from this area, and kind of crappy to have to put your stop loss here, as there's a pretty good chance they're going to bounce from here. This was my take profit level. Obviously, stop got hit, but not mad. It is what it is. Life goes on. Live callouts for this week. I'm 4 wins, 1 loss, and I'll take that all day, any day, every day. For people on SPY, our levels were pretty spot on. It did wick a little bit below our buy zone, but if you bought here, you should be happy. Played out pretty good. And that's that. So let's go ahead and get into charting all of this up. Excuse me. And sorry, I know you guys can hear my wife in the background, I'm sure. What do I have marked here? That's random. Oh. Interesting day. D-shaped profile. Pretty, frankly, rough day to trade. The open was just so choppy. It's not until like 10:30 in the morning my time, so 1:30 Eastern, that we finally got an entry and a move. And even then, it wasn't very much of a move. We can draw SIGs on the last 2 days, so we will do that. What am I doing? Just using the wrong indicator. I will say, though, at least I think, big win on the live Zoom is we were able to just do a ton of education and, just talk about a lot of stuff, because trading was boring and flat and nothing going on. And then also people got to see, how patient I'll wait for a setup I'm actually interested in taking. I'm not ever trying to force a trade or always be in a trade. I'm going to wait for a price to come to the levels where I'm interested in being a participant in the market. My wife is loud as hell. Alrighty, there's all the levels. Oh, awesome, Amanda. I'm glad you enjoyed. Um, let's look at our big picture. Interesting candle. Um, volume is the lowest it's been since the 9th of June. Um, so as we're pushing up, our volume's decreasing, right? When we see that, we're generally looking for a reversal. So I wouldn't be terribly surprised if tomorrow we have a move to the downside, or they could push higher on lower volume and reject, like at the top of this box kind of thing. Let me look at my clouds really quick. That daily cloud is still closed. Monthly cloud is still closed. Um, we keep rejecting off of this thing. Pretty wild. See what futures are doing. We're pretty flat. Not doing much of anything. Let's look at news for tomorrow. We've got some stuff. What is this? An hour or 2 hours and a half before the market opens. An hour before the market opens, we've got some stuff. Half an hour after the market open, pending home sales month over month. Lunchtime, the French president is speaking. And then Tokyo core CPI after close. Yeah, I've been saying for what, I don't even know now, like a month and a half, that we're going to make a new all-time high. Nothing surprising over here. It does look like they want to give us a little pullback, though, before they go higher. At least, technicals. But again, decreasing volume as we're pushing up. I wouldn't be surprised to see a down day tomorrow. But again, they could also push higher on decreased volume and still have the same result, right? Like we could push higher towards the top of the box and then reject and have a little healthy pullback before we go higher. Kind of what it looks like right now. Let me open up my other software and we'll really hop into, order flow and try to identify those really juicy levels to be in trades. All right, let's take a look here. Um, 41 or 40 to 38 looks nice. I just want to make sure we're not bouncing off that right now, because is this 40? Yeah. Oh, no, not quite. Okay, perfect. Let me just verify this again. Yeah, 40 to 38. $59 to $55. Let me make sure I really need that entire box because I hate it when it's that big. Yeah. 59, 54, 55. Yeah. Excuse me. Future traders, if they give this to you in the overnight session, short calls or long. 11:45 candle. Just a heads up, if you're in this here, you want your stop loss to be slightly above this. Okay. Here's a little trickier. We don't want to get taken out by this candle wick here. But this is a really strong low, so more likely than not, they'll probably bounce before we get down to the bottom. But you're probably going to have to be a little sticky on this trade. Maybe take a lotto where you're not using a large, contract price. That way, if it goes to zero, it is what it is. But I would definitely be a buyer here. With that said, if they do give us this, we obviously want to be in puts. And if they give us this, we obviously want to be in calls. If you have questions, now would be the time. I'm going to go post a screenshot and then I'm going to call it a day here. And then just a heads up, for the rest of this week, I'm not going to be doing lives on Zoom or anything like that. Um, and I'm not saying this like as a sales pitch or anything. I will be live in Shorty's Discord, just like I always am. But the Zooms um, are a little overwhelming in the sense that, and when I say this, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm upset or like I'm offending anybody or anything like that. But um, it's really overwhelming for me. And I mentioned this today on the live. Like, this trading is a career for me, right? And so when I sit down to trade, I'm clocking in for work, and I'm at my job. And today, this was my fault. I accidentally set up the Zoom call with what's it called, the waiting room feature, where I have to allow people into the chat. So I had to keep looking over at my Zoom meeting and allow people that are in the waiting room to join. And it was like really like taking a lot of my focus. And then also a lot of people asking questions, which I understand. And when I say this, I don't want it to sound egotistical, because that's not what I'm trying to say. But if I was in the same position, like if I was a beginner trader or an intermediate trader, and you put me in a chat room with me, I'm going to start asking a ton of questions, trying to pick up like, every little gem that I can and try to learn. And like, I would be trying to suck all the information out of this guy that I possibly can. So I totally get it. And I appreciate, the hustle and the drive, and the desire to learn. But it's also making it really hard for me to focus on trading, right? Which is what the whole purpose of the live is. So I will be doing them, from time to time, but I don't think I'm going to do them, 3 days in a row or whatever. I think I'll probably do Mondays where I trade live for the doctorate tier. And then maybe like Wednesdays, I'll do a free live trading session for people that don't have the doctorate tier. But I definitely have to dial it back in the sense that I need to be able to focus on my work, right? If that makes sense. And also, just in this conversation right now, you should be hearing something that's important for everybody. Like, we talked about this a little bit on the live trading session today. This is a job, right? And I treat it as such. This is a business. Like, when I say I'm clocking in for work, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm getting up in the morning, making sure I'm not feeling sick. Otherwise, I'm going to call in sick. If everything feels good, I'm going to go grab my coffee. I'm going to clock in. I'm going to sit down at my desk. And I'm going to start looking at levels, whatever else, figuring out where I'm going to make money. And it's a job, right? This shouldn't be like fun and exciting. I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong with being excited like after the fact. So like when let's just say for example, and I use the same verbiage, um, the same, like on the live stream today, I was saying like, if you're a business owner and you land like a big contract or whatever, of course you're going to be excited about it. But when you're working on that contract, like when you're working on landing that contract, obviously there might be a little bit of excitement of like, oh, I hope I get it kind of thing. But your goal is to land the contract and to work as hard as you can to get to there. And most of that, is just hard work and dedication and putting in the hours, putting in the work, and then eventually you finally land that contract. Yeah, after you get it, maybe a little celebration, but while you're working on getting that contract, it's nose to the grindstone, hardworking, putting in the hours. And so when I sit down in my office, I'm literally clocking in for work. I'm putting in my hours. I'm doing the job. Um, I have like an auto mute everybody when they join. But people unmute themselves, and I don't want people to not be able to talk. But and even still, even if I muted everybody, they're just going to type out questions, right? And that's actually even harder, is like then having to read a wall of text that's like moving fairly quickly. Because with that, I'm always going to miss a message. Like I even do that when I'm doing the YouTube lives and like people are talking. I'll notice sometimes like I miss something somebody asked, or miss something that like a statement somebody made. And I'll just say here, I'm never intentionally ignoring anybody. So if you do type out a question while I'm live and I don't reply to you, either ask it again or just DM me. I'm not intentionally ignoring you. I just overlooked the message. Like I'm not, my charting's up here. Whoa, somewhere over here. And my live chat's down there. And so, my eyes are not focused on the live chat. They're focused on my charts. So sometimes it can be a lot to look at, and I'm never intentionally, looking to ignore anybody. Yes, David Ryan, you get footprints with Quantower, but there's a couple of things you need to know about that. And I'll show you really quick. And then I got to go in a minute. I got to go get ready for work. So Quantower, you go to pricing. The all-in-one license is $70 a month. You can do like a lifetime, one-time like $1,600 fee. Or, they have annual and 6-month options, whatever. But you also don't have to buy like the entire all-in-one package to get the, what's it called? Footprints. I always forget where it is that here it is. So buy pro features apart. You would just need the volume analysis to get footprints. Or at least I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this one. They don't mention it there though. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is what you need for footprint charts. But there's a couple of ways to get it for free. Every time I add moderators, Andre, like, like I can't rely on them to be there. And so even like the moderators that I have on YouTube, none of them show up consistently, right? And I don't know. I just feel like I don't even know what verbiage to use, but like I don't want to say people are unreliable, but people have their lives and they're doing their own thing, and I don't, like I'm not paying them, so they don't need to show up every single day or whatever else. I guess I could add a ton of moderators, but that would get out of control. And I mean, the other thing is I don't really want the added pressure of trading in front of like 250 extra people every day. I already trade in front of like 100 people every day. And it might not sound like much, but that adds pressure to me, right? That adds pressure and stress to my trading. So I don't mind doing it here and there, but I definitely do not want to do it every single day. I do it. I do trade every single day, almost live on Shorty's Discord, and that's in front of like roughly 50 to 100 people on a daily basis. But yeah. So, I mean, I'm down, Jerry. Oops, I accidentally clicked hide the user on this channel, and I don't know how to undo that. So, sorry, bro. You're not going to be able to type anymore. Yeah, I mean, my win rate for plays is not bad. To where, I mean, we could pull it up really quick. I actually need to update it anyway, so, like we have a pretty high win rate, so, the ones that miss, like, doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, just trading live, it's a lot of added stress, and I'm sure anybody can relate to that and understand that. Amanda Shorty is not in Keenan's. He has his own separate Discord. That's my mentor. So anyway, completely different person. What I was saying about Quantower, if you want to use a prop firm, if you go to, I'm going to do this off screen because I have to sign in, but if you go to topstep.com, obviously sign in, and then click on Start Trading Combine. So you would choose whatever size account you want. And then in the drop down of options, you would choose Quantower. And they give you free access, it says right here, to the TPO, DOM service, and volume analysis tools. So if you're using TopStep as a prop firm, you don't have to pay extra money for Quantower every month. If you're wanting to use your own cash account, then go to Google and type in AMP free Quantower. You have to use this link, otherwise you won't get free Quantower. And this will give you the full version for free for AMP customers. All of the trading features available in Quantower for free, no monthly platform fee. And so you can deposit money here and then also use Quantower and not have to pay that extra monthly fee for Quantower. Okay, so that's the two options I would recommend if you're wanting to use Quantower. Top Step for people wanting a prop firm where you'll get free access to the indicators, or AMP, but specifically use that link, search for AMP free Quantower, and then click that link, and you'll be able to use your own cash and get free access to the Quantower premium features. Okay? Yeah, thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. It was a good week, like we traded live Monday, Tuesday, and today. Between the 5 days, we had 4 wins and 1 loss. And like I said, I'll take that all day, any day, every day. Oh, awesome, Andre. That's awesome. So sometimes I can be so annoying. Somebody posted in Keenan's, like, let me see. Sorry, I'm like, what would you guys recommend as a good starter funding position and opening account meant for options for someone who's a beginner? And I said I would use just enough funds to order some books and start doing a ton of studying. Not sure I quite understand. Oh God, sorry, man. Not trying to be mean. Just don't dive in head first. Um, I'll say also. I mean, hopefully this person's here because somebody gave them the link. I think to the YouTube, but too many people think trading is this quick money making scheme where you can just get in and start trading and following other people's trades. And I know a lot of people here know that's not the case. A lot of you have been around for a while. A lot of you have been studying. A lot of you have been getting educated. So you guys already know the routine. But for the people that are new, when I say something like that, I'm not trying to be a dick, I promise. It's just I'm tired of like being like, really, like, study, don't just try to do it, you're not going to succeed, because nobody ever listens. They're going to do what they want to do, and it's just not worth typing it all out anymore. If you are here on this YouTube video right now, I highly recommend you take that advice, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat will tell you the same thing. Study, 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 study. You probably want to do a good like 3 months of studying before you even consider taking a trade. And make sure you're studying from people that are actually like reliable and are going to teach you valuable information. In the description of this video down below, there's going to be a link to a bunch of books. Every single one of those books is worth their weight in gold, and I highly recommend you get those and read them. Okay. With that said, it's time for me to go get ready for work. I'm just going to cut my little outro short here because I'm tired and want to go get ready. But as always, much love, much respect, everybody. If you're new here and you're not subscribed, I would love a sub. The goal is always just to, try to help more people get better at trading. And the way that we do that is by, growing our viewership. And the way we do that is by triggering the YouTube algorithm. So liking the videos, commenting, and by people clicking that sub button. So as always, with that said, much love, much respect, everybody. I appreciate all of you. It's been a fun week trading with you guys live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully there was also some learning moments for everybody. And with that said, much love, much respect. Peace.